Hello, this is Zollith again with another 2B combo video. And as I promised in my last part, this time I'm going to look at Soul Charge. And I'm basically going to go through everything that I think you can possibly do in Soul Charge, like normal hits, counter hits, lethal hits, and stuff that uses 9 AP, all while you're in Soul Charge. Let's just keep it to one video. Right, so activate it. And we'll start right from the top again with 9A, the moves that you only want to do when you 100% have a read on a low or a throw. So because you get access to the move, this move, you can do a bit more damage with any combo you pick up with a 3-hold B. So the maximum damage you do 3-hold B, B. Of course, keep in mind that everything you do does do a bit more damage while you're in Soul Charge. Generally about 10% more. That would normally do 20. And next I will go into combos using 3B. The main one you want to keep in mind generally for damage is AAA into 6-6BB, and those are both Soul Charge exclusive moves. One thing I do find you have to keep in mind though, especially if you hit it at range, you may have to do a tiny little micro step like that. Rather than the move coming straight out, you might have to do a little step like that. Otherwise it will miss. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Generally you won't have this problem if you do 3-hold B, because you seem to correct into the correct place. And that's ridiculous damage if you ever land it, so good luck. The next move I'm going to look at is full crouch BK, and your new maximum damage is 6-6BB. Off of normal hit with 2-2B, you get a slightly better combo now. Right, let me just switch this to always max. I'm not running out constantly. You knock down with A, and then you can just follow up with AGSAB. Right. And one thing I will go over is probably one of her most important moves for like tacking damage onto big combos, and that would be 4BB. Just landing that alone is 82 damage, and you get even more follow-ups off of it. So I'm gonna go over the general ones you'll want to go for. So, first one would be 9k for an easy 4 AP. And then two other big bring out combos, which is picking up with BK into Angular K, and then Soul Charge AKK into Aerial Leap B or Aerial Leap K, like. Well, I think this will bring out from this range. Or nearly did. But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And just one other thing I will just check while I'm here. I think it's another setup for aerial A-hold B. So let's examine that one. Yeah, they can't escape that, which is great for you. And if you're far away enough from your opponent, or you're brave enough to go for it right up close, for maximum damage you can also do 4-4-hold B into AGSAB. Just keep in mind, you won't want to go for the maximum damage option when you're up against the ring edge, otherwise that can just completely whiff like that, so don't bother. Just do the pickups with Angular 4K instead. Now, all those combos will work off of 2 BK. Hang on, let's go into Soul Charge again. And 1-1 hold BK. That works as well, but it's usually not maximum damage. Right. You also, if I just check this, that also becomes a maximum damage option. And Reversal Edge K. X becomes your maximum damage option. One combo I'd like to go over is with her new move 6/6 BB. If it hits grounded and your opponent happens to slide into the wall without actually doing a wall slam, you can do 6/6 Beard K. No, not that. Although the first hit of that does land, I'm fairly sure they can't Ukemi out of this follow-up because you're just too close. And that's a nice way to get even more damage out of that particular move. Right, next. We've already went over CDSA into ASB. Again, that works for that hit as well. And on to maybe one of her scariest moves in Soul Charge is her very threatening plus unblock launcher out of AGS, which is AGS BB. And you can do all the normal aerial leap combos with it. AAK if you want to do some AP build up, or you can go for this combo for more damage. It's up to you what you want to go for. You also get a new launcher that's 0 on block in aerial leap. You can do your usual air combos there. If you want to go for maximum damage though, your new option is 6/6 BK. Because for whatever reason, not even that does as much damage, so keep that in mind. I found if the very last hit of this lands on its own, 6/6 BK seems to work as well. But also 6/6 BB. Another move you can do is 4 BK off of counter hits. Again, this is sort of a hard read, and you'll be lucky if you get that counter hit. But of course, capitalize if you can. It's 6/6 BB. And if you're near an edge when you do this, and your opponent doesn't wall splat, then you can go for 6/6 BK. It can be hard to judge whether or not that will happen though. My apologies if you struggle. Now, off of this move, normally you'd get 3 hold K, but you have another I-14 move that you get a counter hit confirm off of, and that would be BB. If you just want to go for damage, then just do another B. And of course, on a counter hit, it's a nice I-14 counter hit fish. And I believe you get all the same follow-ups you do off of a launch with something like a 3D grounded hit. So K should wing out to the left. In this case though, your opponent can guard impact the hold A and B. Keep that in mind. One thing some people like to go for as well, including myself, is just going into ABS for more pressure. Of course, your opponent will have to make a read on that. They can usually roll out of most pressure, but then that's part of what hold AB and K is for, because that can pick people up off of rolls. Next move we have is the 4A lethal hit, and I think I did go before that 6-6B will work, so naturally that will work too. And I will use this time to bring out that if you land an air hit with that move, and your opponent is near a ring edge and they haven't been rung out, then you can land a I-16 poke like 6-6K or 2B, and that should work. I'll see if I can demonstrate that now. I wasn't quite close enough there, so... that should normal combo. Right, and then I go on to guard impact combos. The maximum damage you can get off this changes, of course. And what will work off of all ranges, if you just happen to catch a ring out at random, except tip, is 4-4 hold B into AGS BB into a combo of your choice. Keep in mind that after the rejuggle, that scaling is very heavily damaged, so it's probably not worth going for the maximum damage option. And also, just keep in mind, unless you're going to do a ring out combo using that move, then I probably don't recommend spending AP there either. If you're closer, then you get access to 4 hold AB into 4 BB into whatever follow up you want. Including ring out combos. So yeah. Same thing applies to the held version, but I find, to be honest, what seems to do most damage is 4 hold AB. Just step forward so you don't go over your opponent, and then just the same thing. And if you land it from a bit further away, do the laser, and the rejuggle. Yeah, keep in mind that's a reset you can do that can sometimes catch opponents if they're not paying attention. Rather than doing the 6BB, maybe go straight into AGS. Next move, if I turn guard impact off, if you do the 6BB lethal hit, then you can combo into AGS BB with no problem. And this is a nice way to do even more damage than you normally would. I can do that. So BB into an aerial release combo of your choice. Next one is the lethal hit off of 6-6A slide hold K. Your new maximum damage option, if you don't want to go for 9K, is hold B. And of course you can bring out or do that, but you can do those without soul charge. I'll just quickly cover this as well. You can just do... hang on. You get the same combos as a 3 hold B. scales more, but still does very similar damage. Right. Next, I will go over lethal hits 2AA. When you're at full health, this will become a launcher, which is a natural combo. What will always work is a raw AGS into BB into an aerial combo of your choice. I recommend just doing AAA or AAK. And now, using 9 AP, we get into some really lengthy and convoluted combos that can do ring outs. So first, I will start with 3B into lethal hit, angler into angler 4K, and then 3AKK into either B or K, depending on where the opponent's going to end up. And same applies to a 3-hold B, aerial loop BK, pick them up again, fairly respectable damage as well, if you can land that all. All the same things apply to yes. Another thing you may want to do is 4BB, pick up into 9K, then I'll see if I can land that properly. Remember, that's one way you can do it. What you also have is the new combo that I recently came across.
What's this?
And do remember that's a sharp left. And in terms of damage, it's pretty bad. So if you have 9 AP and you feel like you want to do some damage instead, then I recommend the previous combo. Of course, all these work off of a close enough hit of a 1-1 hold BK. Pick them up. Lethal hit. Sidestep according to the direction you want to send them into multiple areas. Keep in mind, if you're in Soul Charge, AAA, rather than rings out right, it will ring out left, as you saw in the example. So that's something you need to keep in mind. Keep an eye on your soul gauge as well, so you don't send them the wrong way. Next, what I particularly recommend after landing with the lethal hit 4K, when you do have a soul charge, just going straight to 4BB into enemies of your choice for maximum damage. I mean, that will sometimes work, but it doesn't do as much damage for the most part. So just go for 4BB. That's the maximum damage you can get mainly. And if you think you can ring out, and pick them up with Angler 4K, 3AK. That's what will work there. You also get slightly different combos available with the lethal hit of a 2-2 AAA, which obviously will only work if you're bold enough to run up in their face, soul charge, and then immediately go for this. I've tried it in the past. It only works out several times, but it's so satisfying when it does. And then you can just go into that lethal hit,
What's this?
into 4BB, into angular KK, into 3AKK, into either B or K, depending on where you want to send them. And of course, all these combos apply to launching them with
Don't need forgiveness.
reversal edge K.
What's this?
So I only really recommend going for these combos if you think you're going to be able to ring out with them.
Too easy.
I don't think they're worth the loss in damage otherwise. Of course, make sure you're on Soul Charge when you do them. And also remember that you're going to send them even further to the left if you land the lethal hit. It gets really screwy with the rotation.
What's this?
Before I forget about it as well, you would also get combos off of lethal hit, reversal edge AB,
Now's my chance. Here's
including stuff like basically all the 4B combo to fly. Of course, be in Soul Charge to do them.
What's this?
Another so yeah, even more options with a 4BB if you still have a Soul Charge meter to do it. Which reminds me, if for whatever reason you find yourself caught out and you don't have Soul Charge anymore by the time you land this, you do have options. If your opponent is right behind the ring, pick them up with an angular 4K and use 6KB. If they happen to be to your... if the ring edge is to your left, let me just train them over there, then you can still do ring outs with 3 hold B into K at some distances. I think if you're too far away the K can whiff, but that rarely happens to me. Anyway, those are the only addendums I wanted to add on to the end. That is pretty much all I can think of for combos and Soul Charge. The next part would be wall combos, which you can look at into what few she actually has. There are some, so you need to capitalize. I will also say that the wall combo video was actually the first video I made, so how I talk in that video will probably seem a bit confusing without prior knowledge of that. But yeah, all the information I talk about on there is relevant to all the knowledge we've discussed in all these previous videos. So I will see you there.